Welcome back. Another Freaky Friday for me and Saurabh from Global Region Migration. I am your host, Ankur Saini, and yes, we are here once again for our Friday live session. Yes, we were actually live on, I think, day before yesterday when 491 NSW, they actually come up with their updates. And on that day, I think we missed 190 updates. So we've got our registered migration agent, Mr. Saurabh Smar, with us, who's actually very, very eager because, anyways, this is Friday, and after finishing this live session, we are going out for a couple of drinks.
This is
So,
our
Saurabh,
end of the year celebration.
end of the year celebration. Yes, thank you very, very much, Saurabh. Let's continue the live session which we left this week, I think on Wednesday, with regards to the state nomination updates for New South Wales.
Perfect. So let's begin. So just to let everyone know that my name is Saurabh Smar. I'm a registered migration agent. My migration agent registration number is 1802044. And yeah, so if you do have any doubts or any questions, feel free to, you can actually contact us as well. And the number is down below, which is 04300 and you can either ask for me and ask for Ankur, and we're more than happy to work, assist you with your migration inquiry or any kind of issues that you do face with Australian migration. So without wasting much time, let's quickly begin. And that the sole purpose of our live these videos to provide information for education purpose only. So what I would recommend to our viewers, that if any of the advice given, it could be beneficial in your circumstances, it could benefit your friends or families, just take this as an education purpose only. And I would request all the viewers to actually check their own circumstances, take registered migration agents assistance, or you can even go to Migration Agent Registration Authority website and search with their migration agent registration number, so that you know that you are actually getting a advice from a registered migration agent. So without wasting too much time, let's quickly dive in. So last time we did actually discuss about the 491 options for New South Wales, which were recently been not open, but the occupation list was actually was out. So today what we're going to discuss is we will be talking about 190 requirement. Okay. So 190 requirement, 190, as you all know, it's a skilled nominated permanent visa. And a lot of people are actually would like to go for 190 option, but due to their not meeting some kind of eligibility requirements, they don't actually be eligible for 190, so they go for 491. Or there could be other, conditions in there as well. If they don't meet those requirements, they probably they could only be meeting the requirements of a 491 visa. So, as you know, on the same day, New South Wales also introduced 190 skilled occupation list for themselves. For the yes, and Ankur, if you do look at the list itself, you can see that most of them are, as they have already said previously, that they will only be inviting people from ICT, engineers, and nurses background. But you can see now that is what the occupations are in this list. So there is only so we can see we have approximately around 7 occupations, and technically 3 of them are actually fall under the same group, which is analyst programmer, developer programmer, or a software engineer. And they are also looking forward to invite some people who got an assessment in ICT security specialist, business analyst, and computer network and system engineer. So these are the IT occupations that are actually currently will be invited for through subclass 190 New South Wales skill migration program. Moving forward, if we want to talk about trade occupation, people are saying that there are no trade occupations at all, but there are 3 trade occupations, which is the number one is electrical engineering draft person, electrical engineering technician, and then there is a building and engineering technicians NEC. So there are these three trade occupations. A lot of people, when they do talk about trade occupations, they talk about um, cook, chef, carpenter, motor mechanic. Though unfortunately, those occupations have been left behind in this scenario, and we can anticipate that the department might actually change into they might bring up those kind of new checklist, new occupation list, or they might review these lists again. So those are the things that we can think that that might happen, but we're not sure what's going to happen and when that's going to happen. So we would just request our viewers to stay tuned for that. And there are other occupations. Now if you look into manager level, skill level 1 occupations, so we have engineering manager, we have medical administrator, nursing clinic director, welfare center manager, and so these are the 4 manager level occupations that are currently in NSW 190 list. Do you want to, Ankur, do you want to also explain them about the engineerings as well, like the engineering occupations, or pretty much because there's only what I can see is there's only 4 engineering occupations, which are aeronautical engineer, biomedical engineer, naval architect, and engineering professionals (NEC). So if you do, what is the most common thing in these engineering professionals is actually all of them fall under the same unit group, which is 2339. So surprisingly, in the same unit group, Ankur, there is an engineering technologist as well. However, it is not in the list. What does that mean is that if you have a skill assessment as an engineering technologist, you cannot apply for 190. Does not matter whether your occupation is actually whether there is a similar occupations which falls in the same group are there or not. So that is something that I would request our viewers to be very careful when you are actually applying for this kind of 190 information. And when it comes to medical occupations, so there are plenty of registered nurse occupations which are actually in the list. Specifically, there is a nurse practitioner as well as registered nurse NEC, because NEC is the most common and most famous or popular occupation when it comes to nurses. So that is in the list as well. So that means that if you find your occupation is in the list and you are currently residing in New South Wales, that is important. You must be living in New South Wales, and then only they will be inviting you. A lot of people have actually contacted us. They're saying that they are currently in Victoria and whether they can actually apply for it. But no, you cannot apply if you are not in New South Wales. So you must be residing in New South Wales as well. What else do you should we discuss about this one,
I would
Ankur,
like
in
to ask
190?
one question here, Saurabh. Say, suppose the people, those who are actually the applicants, the candidates, those who are here in Victoria or any of the state, right? And the requirement for NSW says that you should be residing over there. Say, suppose on this coming weekend, if I'm going to New South Wales and I'll settle everything up, all right. So in these sort of scenarios, what is the solution for the people, those who are actually moving, migrating from one state to the required state, which is NSW, and then can what can be done? Is it okay for them to do it, or this is like against the rules?
So that this is the kind of questions yourself like this is the kind of question a lot of people need answer to, and they actually want to know what happens if I do move now, or what happens if I move straight away, etc. So what do we need to be understand? We need to know is that when when New South Wales invite you to apply for the nomination, they would check your EOI first of all. If your EOI would say your postcode where you're residing right now, if it says you are in New South Wales, and then you get invited by New South Wales authorities to apply for your 190 nomination, and
Mhm.
when you are applying for the nomination, you would have to prove your NSW residency. Okay, And how you would prove that is by providing bank statements from your main transaction account showing transactions, and those transactions must be done in New South Wales itself. A rental or lease agreement, if you do have a utility bill such as gas, water, electricity, there is a phone or internet bill, perhaps a driver's license or a proof of age card. So if you think that if you do move, say for example, if you do move on Monday and you can get all these documentation ready by the end of the on end of the week and all the stuff, then yes, you can go to New South Wales, you can relocate yourself. And then it's just say for example, this is just being that you are relocating to a different Australian state just because you want to, because you have the freedom to do that. But be very mindful nowadays, as you know, um, there might be some COVID restrictions might be put in place, etc. Due to the increasing numbers in NSW. So there is something, but there is something out of migration aspect. When it comes to migration aspects, yeah, you can go ahead and move to New South Wales. That should be fine.
Thank you very, very much, Saurabh, for answering this question because as far as my understanding is concerned, that is one of the question which actually is coming up in candidates or the applicants' mind because they are seeing that New South Wales is open, their occupation is there in the list. The only thing is to just move from here to there in order to attain their like a permanent residency or 491 visa. So thank you very much for answering this question. And moving forward, like these updates, as we actually discussed in previous live sessions as well, that the states like South Australia, Victoria, or Canberra, or any other state a part of New South Wales, they are actually going to follow the steps of New South Wales. So, is it going to be happen in the same sort of like for 491 and 190 in both scenario? And as you just mentioned that engineering technologist, that occupation is not there, but it was previously, I think, in their the occupation list along in the Victorian occupation list as well. So what assumptions do you think? However, assuming anything here in migration field is not good, but still, what do you think that what sort of occupations are we thinking to have it in the other states' occupation lists?
Okay. So as engineers, IT, and health professions are considered as the building blocks of society because they actually, help revamp the economy and help build the society, etc. So but they have actually missed out civil engineers, even few other important engineering fields in New South Wales 190. Plus, most importantly, the trade occupations. As you know, recently there were some news that there was scarcity of hospitality workers such as chef and cooks. So I am actually hoping that that for Victoria as well as for other states who have not mentioned their occupation list yet, that they should include cooks, chefs, and other important trade occupations such as motor mechanic as well as a carpenters. So these kind of trade occupations. As you know, last month Tasmania did actually added cook and chef to their critical list, and they did mention that as well, that if you are a cook or a chef and if you have your visa expiring by 30th of December, you could also apply for 491 or 190 nomination depending upon if you do meet the requirements.
Mhm.
So that is something that I would also want to share with you as well. One more thing that I actually um, find out is, so there is University of Wollongong in New South Wales regional. So a lot of students, a lot of international students, they do actually study there as well, and it falls under Illawarra RDA. And just want to let our viewers know that under the Illawarra there are only 5 occupations. So some people who have done Master of Engineering Management, they're studying Master of Engineering Management at University of Wollongong. They
Mhm.
perhaps studied Master of Bachelors of Engineering overseas. and they get the skill assessment as a mechanical engineer, they can be eligible for 491 New South Wales under Illawarra RDA region.
Okay.
So that is very important. So you could be eligible for it. You probably not know, but you must have lived and studied in that region for during your course of study. So University of Wollongong falls under that Illawarra region. As well as we have nurse practitioner, registered nurse aged care, registered nurse development disability and disability and rehabilitation. So there are five occupations which are actually considered to be part of this area. Okay, so moving forward, let's quickly. So, what other options? Should we just quickly proceed to the recent updates now, or
Yes, certainly. Reason being because I've seen that there are changes, there are updates with regards to migration. So it would be great, or it would be good for all of us to understand that what sort of updates are there in the market. Would you please share your thoughts on that?
absolutely? And so the most important, there has been a lot of updates recently. As you know, the acting minister, Minister Tudge, actually recently released some information that they are actually planning on changing the business innovation and investment program, and that these changes would actually come in effect from 1st of July 2021. So if you or your friends or family are willing to get want to settle in Australia through a through migration investment program, then this information might be relevant to you. So previously, Ankur, as you know, we have nine streams under the investment and innovation stream.
Yeah.
So they will be reduced to four, namely business innovation, entrepreneur, investor, or significant investor. So how does that gonna work? Is normally, as you know, these visas would only are valid for 4 years, but under the new stream, they will be valid for 5 years, and these people will be eligible to apply for their permanent residency after finishing their first 3 years.
Mm.
There will be a pathway to migration, permanent migration in all of these four categories. And there has been a bit of changes here and there. And for example, when it comes to innovation program, the annual turnover had been increased from 500,000 to 750,000, and then their minimum assets of 800,000 to 1.25 million. So those are the things that are actually be able to, they will come in place. And another thing is that how you can only get one extension. Now for innovation, they are actually organizing a single 2-year extension as well. Say as long as they provide this kind of information that the business is actively operating in Australia. And so previously, as you know, there used to be direct permanent residency options such as significant investor, sorry, not significant, but the subclass 132 and one, these visas were available for those people who have significant business history, and they were able to apply for permanent residency right from overseas themselves. But those options are probably looks like they won't be available after 1st of July 2021. So if you are or your friends or family are overseas and they want looking for this option and they want to avail this option before that period, I would recommend them to actually get in touch with the registered migration agent, and then get your profile assessed whether you are actually eligible or not, and if you are, then we will be able to actually look into it.
Okay.
So another update moving forward, there was a New South Wales list that was updated. And also, as everyone knows, that the Christmas is actually around the clock, as Christmas is holidays are here. So Queensland Queensland scale migration will be closed from 24th of December. So does ACT, Canberra, South Australia, Western Australia, Northern Territory as well. Well, New South Wales and Victoria, they haven't advised anything about that yet. So pretty much we cannot answer that question yet. Perhaps Victoria is still closed, so we are anticipating they might open early January or maybe mid January to the latest. Um, Also, with the skill assessment authorities, so if you have not done your skill assessment and are planning on getting your skill assessments done, I would say is you would need to be really quick because the assessment authorities will be closed for almost more than 20 days, from 23rd of December up till 11th of January. So
Hmm.
that's the time frame when the ACS will be closed, and the NMAC will be closed from 18th of December till 8th of January. So does all the so does the chartered accountants, so CPA Australia, IML, Engineers Australia, Medical Board, TRA. So all these will be closed from 23rd of December up till the early January. So does are the biggest assessment body, which is VETASYS assessment. So they will also be closed during the Christmas holiday period. So that is something about the quick update regarding Christmas. And yeah, so there has been a recent update, like almost an update which was happened like almost an hour ago. Remember, Ankur, the one that I would discuss about
Yeah.
the second regional visas for temporary 485 holders.
Yeah. Usually we call it
Uh,
TR.
exactly. So those people who are currently living in regional, regional area, and then they are actually they could be eligible for their second regional 485 visa. Um, and then there's going to be some kind of they don't have to pay really high visa application charge. So the visa application charge would be less. It would only be $650 for the secondary applicant who is less than who is over 18. It will be 325 for your wife or your husband, or for your kids who are under 18 it will be $165. So that is the a quick update. We will also be doing another live session maybe early next week in regards to how you can get the next 485 visa and when the department would actually start accepting those applications. So pretty much one thing I should let every viewers know that for your second 485 visa, it is going to start from 20th of January 2021. So pretty much if you do fall in this category, you can actually be eligible to apply for second of this visa as well.
Well,
So that's pretty much all the updates, Ankur, for the week, the one that we have received yet.
well, thank you very, very much for the updates. I was thinking that this session is actually going very, very boring. We are not like some sort of a news channel in which the beautiful
Yeah.
lady is coming and then talking about the weather updates. So we need to deal. Unfortunately, we need to deal with this men here who's still good
Yeah.
looking, but but dealing with
There's a
migration updates, which is like some sort of not always the good news, but yes, sometimes the good news. So thank you very, very much, Saurabh,
absolutely.
for giving us the update. So what we can think that
Yeah.
we can imagine you in a good dress and then talking about the migration updates. So
Yeah,
that's
but yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this is, these are the kind of, this is what Australian migration program is all about. We don't get to, have much updates and stuff. And also, most importantly, because seems like this will be our last session for 2020, because next week is actually Christmas.
oh
Next
yes.
Friday is Christmas. And then the next Friday will be the 1st of January, which is the new year. So probably today could be our the last session, our last Friday session for the year for 2020. Though if there are any updates with migration, we probably we make a quick video to let our viewers know that these are the new information available, so that they can actually can sort their migration program.
And on top, if you are looking for some sort of updates, by any chance, if we are actually not available to come up live, yes, we are going to post it as a sticky note on our Facebook page. And yes, you certainly please follow us over there for any sort of update. And yes, we are actually waiting for some sort of grants as well. So yes, we'll be sharing some good news over the Facebook channel, the digital platform of Global Vision Migration. I think it's time for us to just go and check our live questions and answers from Mr.
Yeah.
Saurabh Smar.
So we
Mr.
got this
Imran
for
Bajwa. So Imran is. It seems like that he's very very frustrated because that is the question most of the times we are actually getting from Imran. We do really understand Imran that how frustrating this situation is. The question is, hi Saurabh, I have 90 points in civil 189 and 90 plus 5 points in civil engineering with 1 year relevant experience in my field. But unfortunately, NSW didn't include civil engineering in NSW 190 list. Please advise what options should I look for expert employer sponsor accept employer sponsorship visa? Is there any worth it to stay in NSW as my visa expire in May and my points are very good? Is there any chance to update this NSW 190 list? One more question: which area is included in 490 RDA Sydney? So that is something which is very tricky to answer. And he further adds here: is there any worth it to write a letter to immigration after getting approval from my manager that my work nature belongs to essential services or critical sector? If there is no harm to send a letter, then can you please, or who should I write a letter to? So,
um,
Saurabh.
we understand. I think Imran has been waiting for he's been waiting from such a long period of time, to know what's happening with his with the invitations and all, and turn out to be civil engineer was not actually part of this for the 190 list as well. And when it comes to NSW 491, but what I would say, Imran, that look, if you do have the opportunity to apply for subclass 491, I would recommend you go for that as well. Okay, because civil engineer is actually is in the list with the 491. But when you and you want to say that is there any worth to write a letter to the immigration after getting approval from a manager that my work nature belongs to essential service? And look, writing a letter to the ministers and all, so there is a proper way to do it. You can't just write a letter and then the minister would actually intervene. They won't intervene at all. There are proper channels, there are proper sections in Migration Act that they themselves have to actually follow. They cannot just no one anyone. I have clients who came to me who have written letters to Prime Minister asking them, hey, my visa got refused, can you help me with that and stuff. So there's those kind of things will not work. You would actually have to go through proper channels, otherwise because their staff members will not accept your inquiry because they would say it has not come through the proper channel. And when it comes to your second question, which area is included in Sydney area, so there is a bit of an area such as Katoomba, Richmond. There are around 33 local government areas that actually falls within the Sydney's RDA. Richmond, St. Mary's, Brooklyn, Sutherland, Campbelltown, Picton. So those are the areas that actually falls under Sydney RDA. So if you think that you do fall in this kind of region, and then this is what you think you do meet this kind of requirements, then yes, probably we might be able to look into it. And what I would recommend you is to you already if you haven't got our details, these are our contact details. Send us a message, and we probably able to look into personally in your case to see if there is anything that we can do to assist you further. And yeah, so there would be some kind of options available, but sometimes people are not aware of them, etc. And then yeah, so I think that answers your question, I believe. because it's not in the list for 190. We can't do anything to have it entered into the list. The only thing we can do is we can just assist you to get that 491 option, or either can help you with the see if you can fit in any other state instead. If you 190 is the only option that you're seeking, or a 186 direct entry employer nomination scheme could be an option for you as well. So if you don't want to go for 491 pathway, look for other options.
Yeah, we can easily see the anger and the frustration in the words. But anyways, that's what it is. Let's move forward. Merlin Palihana. Do NSW have any other additional requirement for 190 other than relocating in NSW?
Um, yeah, thanks, Marlon. Marlon is our existing client. I'm surprised he could have just sent us a WhatsApp message. That's active VR. We normally just reply quickly to our messages to our clients as well. Um, don't have any other additional requirement for 190 other than, so there has not been any other additional requirement, Marlon. As you know, they have actually mentioned that they would be inviting people based on their ranking of their EOIs. So if your EOI is ranked above the other candidates, then obviously you will be the one getting an EOI. And as I believe you have an assessment as an aeronautical engineer, if they are, say, for example, there are 4 to 5 aeronautical engineers, and then they have different EOI point score. So whoever got the highest, that's how the New South Wales normally look into it. But they will also consider applicants who have work experience, who are currently employed in New South Wales. So those are the things also comes in place. Currently, there is no additional requirement. That additional requirement that you're talking about were used to be there before, where you have to have at least 1 year of work experience. So it's not there. If that answers your question.
Thank you very, very much, Saurabh, for answering Merlin's question. We've got Muhammad. Thank you, Muhammad. And the question is, thanks for the weekly update. Thank you very, very much for this. I am not meeting the points for NSW 190 as software engineer. Is Adelaide a good option to study diploma of nursing, and after graduation try to work for 3 months in the same time while studying the diploma of nursing, trying to find a job in the outer Adelaide for 1 year in any job in order to be eligible for 491 after 1 year of working in the outer Adelaide? So by then I would have two options. The first is try to get job for 3 months as enrolled nurse, and the question,
Okay.
I couldn't have the full question, but if you've got the full question, Sarah, please, can you answer this? This is very
So
tricky.
I only have this much.
Okay.
So what I would say is, Mohammed, look, you're saying that you do not meet the point requirement for 190. There has not been an invitation round yet. Okay, so we don't even know what points are they looking forward to. And if you do have a relevant work experience, Mohammed, I would say seek employer sponsored options, etc., because it's a primary skill occupation list. Software engineer is in that list. Furthermore, if you're thinking of moving to Adelaide or any state and you're planning on studying something that you have not studied before, so think of that as well. Like, if you just want to study diploma nursing just for the sake of getting 491 as well, by the time you finish studies, what if the state requirements do change? And what if they don't require any job, as you're saying that you could work for anything for 1 year? Um, but then they might ask you that, the job needs to be in your nominated occupation. Okay, so those are the things that we have to be very careful about. And moving to South Australia, even though that South Australia said that yes, we are open. And last Friday, Ankur, if you do remember, I think that was on 4th of December. Sorry, not last Friday. We actually received a South Australia nomination approval for a business analyst working in a aged care. So that means that you could also be working in an aged care as a software engineer as well, and then you could also be eligible to get the nomination approval. So So these are the things that you need to be very careful about, and what you actually choose for.
Thank you
Moving to a
very
different state is a different option. And as Mohammed, he said, he posted another question. He's saying working on the outer for 1 year to be eligible for 491. So currently, as you know, they have not posted out their list of occupations, what their list will be. So that is one thing. Currently, enrolled nurse is in high demand, or registered nurse. But after studying for another 1 year or so, what if the occupation list changes and it's not in the list anymore? Then you probably might be looking for another option. So what I would say is, if you are good at something such as software engineer, stick to it, and then you probably be able to secure your PR pathway through that.
Thank you very much, Saurabh. Imran is actually going much more deep with regards to the questions. So I would request Imran to give us a call on the number which is 04300 81804, because Facebook platform actually restricts us not to go much more into the detail of some person's individual migration situation. So we request you, if you can please call Saurabh on the given number, and then we'll be more than happy to assist you over there. And hello, Saurabh.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think
absolutely.
that's it for the day.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, so we did actually, okay, we try our best to answer as much questions as possible. And so if we haven't answered any question, or if you missed out on anyone, we would request you to actually, you can drop your comment. We will try to answer it as soon as possible. And most importantly, yeah, so we would like to wish everyone, from Global Vision Migration, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and we probably will see you next year in 2021, or probably before. We never know, but let's give you a good goodbye. Yes, Ankur,
Well, there's nothing more I can say.
anything
That
anything you would like to add?
2020, very hard year for all of us, but still we all survived. And the only thing which I can say that be strong. And I'm pretty much sure 2021 is going to get us the happiness, because this is Santa is around the corner. So I'm pretty much sure most of the states, they are going to play the role of Santa, and then for sure going to give us some good news when it comes to the permanent residency or the occupation list. And having said it, I think yes. Happy New Year to all of you, and Merry Christmas. And then we'll see you in 2021. And if Saurabh is going to force me to come on come on live during this time, then
Mhm.
yes, pretty much sure I'll be there with him. Till then, thank you very very much, and yes, hopefully this 2021 can bring, or surely going to will bring, this good news. Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, for listening to us throughout the 2020, and almost been more than 4 months that we have been doing our live sessions, and we are getting a really good response from our viewers as well, a good feedbacks, and it is very important for us as well. So make sure you do like and share our video, so that it might help people who actually need this kind of assistance. Not everyone needs migration assistance, but it could be your friends or family. They might be needing some kind of assistance. So yes, so thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you all good luck and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. Take care, everyone.